Hi guys, and welcome to another video. In this video we continue solving the tactics and the puzzles, and I will give you some more insights how to calculate which techniques you can apply, and this time it will become more difficult. So stay tuned and you will definitely learn something here. So let's start with the first one, and as last time we put great emphasis on checking checks and captures, but also threads. And okay, we just start checking some checks. There's a check here, but it's just at rate. We have no follow-up. No more checks. Okay, except this one, we can exclude them quite quickly. And after this, we should look for some threads and how to find threads actually. To find threads, you should have a look at opponent's weaknesses. And weaknesses can be unprotected pieces, weak squares, and weak king, weak pawns. But often it's just unprotected pieces. And we will have a look. Where are unprotected pieces in this position? I see rook here, they are unprotected. And apart from this, I would say this knight here is unprotected. So you might argue this knight is protected, but basically it's attacked as well. And when a piece is protected once and also attacked once, I count it as an unprotected piece because it's the same as if it was attacked 0 times and defended 0 times, when we would count it as undefended. So attacked once and defended once is same as undefended. So we see those two undefended pieces and we can attack both of them, and this will win something. If the rook goes to g8, attacking our queen, we can take on f6 with check or on f6 with the queen. And if the knight takes our knight, we take the rook first. So this should be the solution. And he takes us, we take the rook with check, and we take the queen with check, and then we recapture on d5. Okay, next position, he attacked our queen. We should check the checks and captures. First, can we take the rook? Yes, we can take the rook because he is pinned. But we should take it a bit slow, because after takes, and taking the queen, he can play d6 or d takes c6, trying to exploit our back rank. But we can just recapture because our bishop will do the job, and in case he plays d6, we will return with the rook. So that's fine, but the first capture already works, and we should always check, can we really trust our opponent? We should not trust him just like this. Always check, can we do this move which we really want to play? So takes, take the queen, he takes, and we expected this. We can take and play bishop f8. Piece up. Okay, next position, we are with white here. We have a very far advanced pawn, and we can queen it by tactical means, because if we check, he needs to take it, and then we have a skewer on the rook. So if he doesn't take it, we will queen, and the queen will be protected. Also, again, you see, we still can go very fast with this principle of checking the checks, and they are very often the solution in tactical positions. Okay, check and take the rook. Okay, next one. So we have one check, but he will answer with check, and we have no queen, so that's not good. Do we have captures? Yes, we can capture. He takes with the queen. Do we have follow-up? Yes, we have a threat. We attack his queen, and finally we will capture on g2, which should win the game. So we go along with this one. And the rook c2. He needs to give up the queen, but then we win. Okay, what's going on here? We can capture nothing. We cannot check. So we need to look after threats. To find threats, we need to find weaknesses. Do you spot some weaknesses here? Do you spot some unprotected pawns? I see unprotected pawn on a2, but it's hard to get there because the knight is covering the routes, so no chance. So I see another unprotected pawn here, and I think we can just attack it. And there is no chance for him to really defend it, and then we have some very dangerous passed pawns, so we go ahead with this one. He goes a4. Okay, that's a tricky move, and I should have anticipated this one, but okay. Still, we need to think now. Can we take this pawn or not? If we take, the critical thing for me is, can he run? If he moves the knight, I will be very fast with my pawn as well, and also the bishop can go. But I should check, can I take at first instead of holding the pawn first, because capturing is more aggressive. So the critical line to check is, if I capture, can he run? If I take his knight, he runs further. How is the race? If I go d3, he goes a7, I go d2, he goes a8, I go d1. This should do the job because we're bishop up. So I think we should really do this, but I would have a look at bishop d8 too. Is it better or safer or cleaner? Okay, if I start with bishop d8, I see he has the extra option to protect his pawn, which he doesn't have in the other line. That's bad news. I could attack the knight, but maybe he attacks my pawn and then things become messy. That's already unclear, so I would prefer the other line, but let's double check. If I take here, if he's giving some check first, I don't believe this because I move my king here. If he runs, I can still stop the pawn, while my pawns are very dangerous. So king takes, runs, take, run, d3, a7, d2, a8, and queen, and I would try to stop here, evaluating that he has no clear perpetual check and no dangerous checks and no winning of my queen. That should be it. Take the knight and just run. Can we stop the pawn? Did we miss something? No, we cannot stop it, so we go for the race as expected and just we are bishop up. Okay, so this one we check the checks. There is one check and this looks already very decent, so why not? So let's see. If we take, is there a chance that he traps our queen in the end? We take, he goes here, we take, he attacks us, but we have this square, so it's fine. Okay, he starts this way, but this seems a bit slow. If he moves the bishop, we might go here and attack here. But what do we do in the meantime? That's actually quite tricky, I would say. We could put some pressure that he's forced to do something. If we go here and he goes there with the bishop, then we can go there. He cannot really attack us then. And this is forcing matters. I like this. Do we have some alternatives, some threats? Can we go here? No, it just takes it. If I go this way, I don't like that we don't attack c7. So again, we go for the most forcing move, trying to force matters and to clear the position for our queen so that he has no time to organize it slowly. Yeah, be aware that if he gets bishop b7 and then bishop g7 would actually win our queen, but if we put pressure with bishop e5, he has no time to do that because we threaten to exchange a lot of stuff here, and then the queen will be exchanged or the queen will be out. So this should be the way. Bishop g7, we go here, threatening c7. Okay, next one. So here, let's see our options. We have a capture here and we have a check here. If we capture on f2, I think it looks pretty hopeless because we enter some queen ending and drop the bishop down here, so we win nothing with taking. And okay, moving the king is stupid because we blunder the rook. So let's check this option, and it's actually mate. Yeah, king must retreat and mate. So that's it. Okay, next one. He took something, but we should consider some alternatives to capturing back, which is checking the checks. There is a huge check here, and he doesn't have many options. King needs to go there. Let's go further down this line. Do we have options? We have option of queen e8, but he recaptures with a check, so we cannot do this. And we have the option of going knight f6 check, after which he needs to take, but then we have queen e8 mating. After bishop f8 we can take it and it's mate. Okay, so there we go, only checks and we win the game. Check, check and checkmate. So the next one, if we win this game, we win because his king is quite exposed, so we should try to create a deadly attack against this white king here, because materially speaking we are not in good shape. But let's see, his pieces are a bit cut off, so how to attack? We have one check here and one check here, but his queen is protected, so this discovered attack doesn't work, so rook d3 I would not check deeper. But queen g5 is the only other check, so practically speaking, if there is something, I'm pretty sure this must be the move. So I would actually, if I would be low on time, I would already play it. But let's see a bit deeper. If I go here, if he goes there, I take here. This looks already good. If he goes there, I bring the rook. So let's go for queen g5. He goes there. Okay, I have two checks. I don't want to trade the queens because then I'm losing on material. So I need to go rook d2. And he already gives the queen because otherwise checkmate would have followed. So we take and it's winning. So next position, we check the checks, and when we check it carefully and systematically, we check every piece, and once we check this rook, we see this check is huge because this rook wants to stay on the g line, and then it's almost mate. Only knight h5 possible, but then we take it. Okay, next one, this is easy one. We can take, and this is, oh, it's not as easy as I thought. I thought this would be made, but there is still knight f1, so we need to pay some attention. The other capture is taking there with the queen, but I don't believe this. So let's see. If I take with the rook, he goes knight f1. I could take on f1, followed by taking here, followed by h2. Then, yeah, that looks actually quite decent. Or after rook takes, knight f1, I could also immediately take there, which looks also quite decent. Maybe it does matter, but the first move, it must be rook takes. Okay, now we need to be careful because only one move seems to be right, usually in this puzzle. So let's see. We have two options of captures. This one is not an option because we would blunder the queen. So two options. We can take here, then he must take here. That's the only capture. And then it looks so tempting, but I don't see the mate yet. And maybe I just take with the rook, king goes there and I go h2. Is it winning? I think so. How is it the other way around? If I take here first, takes, king takes, queen takes f3, king must go back, because if he goes to g1, I have a mate. And if I go then here, that's tricky actually. Let's see if we find some difference. I blundered something. So we should pay attention to his captures, and after queen f3 there is simply a capture, which destroys our day because our pawn will also not make it forward. So there we are, we need to go rook f1. So this one looks quite simple. I have this check, which feels much more natural than this check because it would let the king out. I think the only chance to win is playing for mate, so we mustn't let the king out because we are so many pawns down. So this should be the move, and we will calculate this one first. Always calculate the move which you expect to be successful with at first. So always go for the optimistic approach. The more aggressive move, the more tempting looking move should be calculated first. That's a general rule, because if the more tempting move is successful, it's very, very unlikely that the other move, which looks less tempting, is even more successful. But the other way around, this is not unlikely, and this happens a lot, that if you check the less aggressive move first, you risk that you will miss something. So rook b3, he needs to move the king to a6, because otherwise rook a4 is checkmate. But after king a6 and the rook goes in between, we just take it and check. And we win this rook as well, so this is winning. Check, one more check, one more check. We follow just the checks and we win the game. Okay, next position. We are black, we have a queen, but white has some pawns. First I need to get some orientation. The pawns move this direction, and I have only one check, so it's my clear candidate. And when the king goes somewhere, I have a fork on e6, which is another check, winning the rook. This should do the job. Check and winning the rook. So what's going on here? Let's look for checks. I have a check here, but this is defended. I have a check here, this is defended. I have a check here, which is also defended, but it at least destroys the black's king's shelter. And I would investigate this because it might lead to checkmate. Okay, it takes, bishop takes. The king doesn't have so many squares, it cannot go to the f line, which is very nice. If it goes to the g file, I have a check and mate. So this we can also exclude. If he goes to h8, I win the queen, and same goes with h7, because we in both cases have the discovered attack of bishop to g5, attacking the queen and threatening the king. So rook g7 takes, king h8, and we pick up the queen because I think there is no mate here. Okay, next position. Let's see, there is a free piece. That's check number one and capture number one. We could also check here, but then he could save the bishop. So this looks less tempting, and I also don't see any danger if we just pick it up. So now we have two options. Either we give a check, try to take this one, but now I see this is just pinned, so that's not an idea. I think there is no real drawback if we take the rook, because he has no threats. Okay, he has a threat, but we can give back some material because we are already up so much material, yeah? Okay, he checks us, and we should check our answers. So always start with the forcing moves. King h7, king h8, they are not forcing, because don't threaten anything. The forcing line is e6. After this, his queen is attacked, and he needs to trade on f8, because if he moves the queen, we take the rook. So if e6 must trade the rook. Rook takes, king takes, and then he could take this piece here, but then we go into an endgame, which will be easily winning. And if he goes back there, then he doesn't regain the knight. Okay, let's see. And if he gives a check here after king takes f, let's go slow so that everybody can follow. Okay, we just calculate e6 because it's aggressive. He takes, we recapture, he gives a check with the rook. But I would suspect that we just go king e7 then. Then there are no checks and we are a lot of material up. Maybe he has queen h8, queen a8 in the end. We're still a knight up then, but it might be a bit dangerous. But not so much. I think I just run there with the king then. Let's see, do I have alternatives? If I go here with this rook, he will check me and I won't win the game. Because if I move the rook back, then he will check again. So this is not a winning try. If I go here, he will check me here. I must run there and then I'm even mated. So no alternative. I think e6 is the way we need to go, even if we are not entirely sure about the end. But in the end, we're piece up. We don't see how we get checkmated, and it's very likely we just run away and we're piece up. So let's go for this. Takes, of course, we need to take this one. Now let's spend one more second, and it's always important that you re-investigate your moves once they arise on the board, because you will see things more clearly. Even if you think you saw everything, this is usually not the case. So let's compare a bit those two moves, and comparison is a very useful method in chess, especially when you're in situations like this where you just have two legal moves, because when you can eliminate one of them or make sure by comparison that one is clearly worse than the other, then you can go for the other one. And I would see after king f7, he has an extra option of giving a check, which is quite bad because then his attack is going much faster. So we should definitely go to e7. Okay, here it looks like a simple mating pattern, check and check. So we go for this and checkmate. Next one. Okay, he attacked our bishop. Can we capture anything on our own? Not really, just giving up the queen. That's not good. Can we check? Not really. Do we have threats? Okay, I see two knights here. I could fork them. If he takes me, I take intermediately there and I will pick up the other knight as well. So that should do the job. And also important to note, if he has a counterattack, yes, he does. But we can just take the knight, and if he takes our queen, we take his queen and we won a knight in the process. Okay, he takes, we should take this knight because it's hitting his queen. He has no time to escape with the other knight. Hitting our queen, but we just take the knight. He's hitting our queen, but our queen has actually quite a lot of space, so we're not in danger of losing. But we need to keep this guy protected, so we should go here, I think. And takes, and we are a piece up. Okay, next position. Let's see. He attacked our queen. What are the options? Can we capture something? Can we capture this guy? I don't think so. He has two options and I don't see what we can do in either of them. So can we capture something else? Can we capture this knight? But I think it's just not enough. But do we have any more captures? Yes, we do. We can capture this guy. If he captures our queen, we capture his queen, and there are a lot of pieces hanging, but also his rook is hanging. His knight is hanging, and if he takes our knight, we take his rook. So that looks pretty decent, and we need to make sure, does he have something else? But if he moves his queen, we take the knight, which is winning for us. So he basically doesn't have anything else. And it's very important that we check all the captures, because if we would only check the queen moves, we would not even be close to finding the solution. So see all your options, and then there we are. Takes, and we take the rook, exchange up, and winning. So let's see this one. He just played rook d7. Okay, is he attacking something? Yes, he's attacking here, which is, yeah, a huge threat. So the first option which comes to mind to me is takes, because his answer is forced. He needs to take. And then, do we have something? Can we take something more? No. We can take a pawn, but I think this is really not so important here, because he might just create some initiative or something, and the knight is just very misplaced. But we can fork him there, because we see some unprotected pieces which are weakness, and then we can fork. He's lucky that he can defend, but then we have another fork, forking the rook and the bishop which is there. This should do the job. Forking and forking once again, and that's it. Okay, he's attacking us there. I missed this one, but I think this should do the job. We take the piece, and once he takes, we can interfere so that he will not have a discovered attack. Actually, I'm not yet sure if we go in between with the knight or the bishop, but we must take the bishop. And okay, probably both would be okay. So he just threatened our queen here. What are our options? We can capture. This is just a trade. We can take, and take the queen, but he recaptures and he's fine, I think. But we could also consider this capture. And when he captures, we win a piece. If he captures our queen, which is forced, we take his queen, and we are one piece ahead, and I think he won't win it back. So let's go for this one. Okay, this is a tricky response, quite a typical one though. We won the piece, but he guards this bishop attacking our queen, and we need to make sure that we still go home with one extra piece. So the first thing which comes to mind is going f6, because he still needs time to regain this piece, which is some effort, and in the meantime he cannot guard his bishop. So once we attack his bishop, if he moves it, we move our bishop also, and we remain with the extra piece. And if he doesn't move it and takes our bishop, we take his. So that should do the job. Takes, okay, we take, and it's done. So I hope you enjoyed puzzles 20 to 41. So we did one more than I was telling in the beginning. If you liked it, like the video and subscribe to the channel, helps me a lot, and hope to see you next time. Goodbye.